Compared to the traditional Olympics season, the Winter Olympics lack diversity. However, in most cases, traditional American sports movies make this issue seem normal and is often overlooked. In this video, we highlight those cases to represent that uneven playing field hidden in modern Olympics through athletes' representations in movies featuring the Olympics. On a lighter note, this misrepresentation can be seen in Josh Gordon's Blades of Glory. Figure skaters Chaz Michael Michaels, played by Will Ferrell, and Jimmy McElroy, played by Jon Heder, show the drastic differences between what an Olympic figure skater is supposed to look like and what an Olympian is not. The problem? Ferrell's character, a low-class, uneducated dude that thinks outside the box, is still loved by fans and is able to compete and even beat America's angel, Jimmy McElroy. This fantasy seems to only take place in films that don't feature real-life characters. In reality, figure skating is viewed as an upper-class white sport. According to the U.S. Figure Skating 2018 fact sheet, over 40% of Olympic figure skaters have a master's degree or higher, and 56% have an average household income of over $100,000 a year. Many winter sports also come with a heavy cost. Competitors can't simply roll a ball into a field and lace up a pair of running shoes. There's winter gear, lift tickets, ice time, specialized equipment, coaching, travel. Anyone that doesn't fit that mold doesn't seem to stand a chance against the competition. This can be seen through Craig Gillespie's I, Tonya, which shows the true story of Olympic figure skater Tonya Harding, played by Margot Robbie. Harding comes from a very poor background and has to make her own costumes and has a very unconventional appearance. Harding was way more muscular than any of her opponents, and everything from her makeup to her song choices went against the idea of the golden girl, the idea that all figure skaters have to look and act a certain way in order to be successful. Harding was constantly given mediocre marks despite the fact that she could land a triple axel nearly perfectly every time. She was even told by judges at one point that she didn't have the look they wanted, and maybe she should just try a different career.
You're just not as good as you think. Maybe you should pick another sport. Suck my...
While issues of classism still exist today, the bigger issue with Winter Olympics is the lack of minority representation.
Only 91 countries, which is 45% of the world, participated in this year's games. But 18 countries only came with one athlete, and 13 countries only came with two. However, this isn't unique to just this year's Olympics. In fact, these Olympics were considered one of the most diverse we've ever had. While this may seem normal for Winter Olympic overrunning Scandinavian countries that are made up of mainly whites, a country as racially diverse as America should be expected to have way more racial diversity than what was represented here. Let's take a step back and look at figure skating. In the 2018 Winter Olympics, Asian Americans had 7 spots on the figure skating team. The US actually did a decent job of increasing minority representation with standouts like Maya and Alex Shibutani. The lack of diversity on the winter teams is certainly not a new issue, and it's not unique to the United States, but the way these figure skaters were depicted in the media is where the real issue is. Male figure skater Adam Rippon only earned a team bronze medal, yet he was arguably given the most on-screen time and was deemed America's sweetheart because of his openness about gay rights and for being a positive role model to other LGBT athletes. While this is a huge step for the Winter Olympics, we still can't ignore the fact that many of the other skaters didn't get any media attention. Whether that's due to the lack of performance or because of their race is a little iffy, but we can't still discount the fact that over 80% of the US Olympic team is made up of white athletes. In reality, this unfortunately seems to be the case for the USA team today. The Winter Games contingent is typically much smaller than its summer counterpart, but the demographic differences are striking. With only 10 African American and 10 Asian American athletes out of a total of 244, this means that over 80% of the US Winter Olympic team is white. And unfortunately, the issue is pretty widespread, not just an American one. 13 athletes from 8 African nations competed in the 2018 Winter Olympics. And this is the largest representation of athletes from African nations in any Winter Games. However, there has yet to be a medal awarded to an athlete representing an African country. Figure skating has arguably the highest visibility of any Winter Olympic sport. In fact, during the 2014 Olympic Winter Games, figure skating was broadcasted in primetime. On average, NBC's primetime broadcasted 21.4 million viewers with a 12.3 household rating. Figure skating consistently received more primetime broadcast hours than any other sport in national and Olympic television programming. Yet, it is also one of the most misrepresented. Time will tell if the steps taken by the U.S. Figure Skating Association will pay off with even more diversity in the coming years. As with many things, the lack of diversity in figure skating is just a matter of access and opportunity.